Hello and welcome back to another UCL fantasy video. Today we're going to take a look at my team selection and potential plans for match day 5, and we are going to start off with last week, taking a look at how I got on, and I managed to have a bit of a big rank jump last week. Well, before the international break, it's a lot longer than last week now. 78k in the world I was before, or 76k I think, something like that, before match day 4. Jumped up to just into the top 50k, we're 49k now, with a bit of a low scoring week as well. I think it was kind of similar in match day 3. Obviously we can't expect 100-point weeks every single weeks when a lot of your Haalands and Mbappe's blank. It's very difficult to try and hit those triple digits. So a 68-point week last match day, and that is the lowest so far that I've personally had this campaign, but still not a bad match day. Again, still managed a really nice green arrow, and again a lot of my points kind of came from the defense, with my attackers kind of not doing amazingly, not doing too badly either. Not a lot of blanks in there. I think the main disappointment was Dumfries being my captain, only getting a 2-pointer, which was absolutely horrendous. Inter were very disappointing against Kairat. And Dumfries obviously blanking, which wasn't great. I can't believe Inter ended up conceding to Kairat. Absolutely crazy. Probably I would have put a lot of money on that clean sheet last week, but a 2-pointer, that's how we've got to deal with, and I'm kind of just happy in general that I managed the green arrow despite having a 4-point captaincy in there. But yeah, it's alright. It's not the end of the world. Still got clean sheets from Timber and Gabriel, 6 points all round. Dan Burn was a big saviour of the week, picking up 13 points with that finesse header as well, which was fantastic. Still smashing it for Defcons. Dan Burn is a little bit wary of him going forward due to Lewis Hall now being back. I was looking at taking him out this week, until we get so much injury news. I think that kind of just all came piling on at the one time. We will speak a little bit about that looking at my team in a minute. Buongiorno made up for his own goal in match day 3. I brought him in. The own goal wasn't ideal, and he made up for that with an 8-pointer in match day 4, which was fantastic. But overall, a lot of consistent points in there. No one really scored below 4 other than Anthony Gordon, who was a 1-pointer. So yeah, I don't mind that. It's not too bad at the end of the day, and 68 points ended up being pretty decent for match day 4. So this is how my team is currently looking heading into match day 5, and I actually feel as though I've got pretty lucky with this. Obviously, having used my wild card in match day 2, a lot of people are looking like they're in a bit of a problem, a bit of a struggle for match day 5 with injuries. Now, I have spoke about injuries in my wildcard and limitless video, but more and more just keep popping up as the day goes on, and there is so much really to talk about. So I can go through the injury list for you right now. I would use the same graphic, but it actually seems as though it just keeps getting more and more outdated as we go. So for Barcelona, we've got Pedri, who's out injured, a fairly highly owned player in the grand scheme of things. Ben Sebaini is out for Dortmund, another player who is fairly owned. For Napoli, you've not really got any big ones. De Bruyne and Merit were out in match day 4. Spinazzola, a bit of a doubt if you have him. Osimhen is a doubt for match day 5. He is a hit and miss. Potentially could play, potentially might miss out for the derby against Fenerbahce next week. Again, we see the lineups for Galatasaray, so that's going to be fine. You will just have to have a plan in place in case he doesn't play, but he could be on the bench, he could start. We're going to have to wait and see on that one. Hakimi obviously picked up an injury in match day 4. He's going to be out. Gabriel is out for match day 5 and match day 6. Gyökeres a doubt as well for match day 5. Dumfries, who you can see in my team, some new news came out with him that he had an ankle injury which wasn't initially considered to be bad, and now looks as though he's going to be out for a few weeks. So that could be match day 5 and match day 6 for him as well. And I think that might be everything. Mastantuano's back in training. Desiree Douay is still a doubt. Dembele could be back, but again, still a bit of a doubt. So many injuries that a lot of people are suffering with right now, and I do consider myself quite lucky that I've only got 2 of those guys. I've got Gabriel and Dumfries. Gabriel, obviously I knew was out. He was 100% going to be someone that was going to be coming out. This week I did plan on bringing in Hakimi. His injury kind of just makes the straightforward switch to Nuno Mendes on the other side for me. So Gabriel to Mendes is 100% going to be one of my transfers this week. The other one, I was kind of looking at my team and thinking I didn't really need to make many transfers. I was looking at my wildcard video, and out of the midfield and forwards, the only 2 differences I had was McTominay and Osimhen over Højlund and Gordon. Højlund and Gordon isn't a bad double up to have, so I'm very happy with my midfield and my attack, which in my opinion doesn't need any maintenance to it. So it's really just the defence and the goalkeeper. And I originally thought maybe Dan Burn could be a problem long term with Lewis Hall back. He could see some potential rotation, even though he is doing really well. So I was looking at maybe going for Chow, who could be the more nailed defender in the Newcastle team. But obviously that would have been a very luxury move, and in the end I can't really do that now with Dumfries probably having to come out. So now I need to try find a replacement for Denzel Dumfries, and I don't want to double up on the Newcastle defence and go for Chow because their fixtures aren't amazing. They've got 2 away fixtures in the next 2 matches. So I took a look at my target teams for matchday 5 to matchday 8, and this was the graphic we used in our wildcard video for teams that we're going to want to look at for the remainder of the league stage. Juventus, in terms of defenders, none are really exciting me too much. Gatti is out injured as well. Not really too highly owned for him, but there is a couple of players that just don't really look too great. Napoli as well, I've obviously already got Buongiorno, so I don't want to double up on that defence, having Karabag, who have been quite tricky in the Champions League so far, followed by 2 away fixtures. Yes, I would like to have a defender, which I obviously have because the fixtures are looking quite nice, but I don't want to be doubling up. Barcelona, in terms of defenders, there's not really a lot of options. Kubarsi, Koundé, none really are that exciting, even though the fixtures do look quite nice. Bayern Munich, on the other hand, look fantastic from matchday 6 onwards. Sporting at home, Union SG at home, PSV away. Now I also have to keep in mind myself that I do have the Limitless in the bank to use in one of matchday 7 or matchday 8, so I'm really only looking at 3 fixtures here. So the Arsenal fixture is quite annoying, but I could potentially go early on someone like a Upamecano and hope that Bayern, at least do well in matchday 5, and then I've got a great player for the rest of the league stage. Something with that as well, Bayern are obviously one of the better defences in the campaign so far. Arsenal, in terms of attack, they're obviously missing Gyökeres, missing Odegaard, so they could maybe struggle to score goals in that match. That would be my hope, at least anyway, if I was to go for a Upamecano. If Bayern kept a clean sheet in match day 5, obviously they'd look fantastic going forward. So potential for an early move to Upamecano. For Real Madrid, they are playing Olympiacos this week. Then it's at home to Man City. I wouldn't expect a Real Madrid defender to keep a clean sheet at home to Man City, but it's not the worst fixture either. And then you've got Monaco at home and Benfica away as well. So Hodgson would probably be one of my main targets for this week in defence, based on my personal team. To maybe look at that. And then for Man City, again, really nice fixtures, but there's 2 away fixtures after this week, one of those playing against Real Madrid, where again I wouldn't expect a clean sheet there. So Vardiol would be one of my main outlooks in defence. I had him as one of the options in my wildcard drafts that I put out a few days ago. So that's kind of where I'm at. It's either an early move to Upamecano, a move to Hodgson, or the move to Vardiol, who I think right now is probably my third choice based on my current team. So that's kind of where I'm at with my transfers right now. Gabriel to Mendes is 100% going to be happening. That is definitely one of my moves this week. And then Dumfries is going to have to come out, and I'm still leaving it open for which defender I'm going to go for. It's likely going to be one of Hodgson or a Pumecano, but if someone else pops up, you know, in the next day or two, then I could easily leave that open. The reason I've got Hodgson on the graphic right now is because he is the cheaper option. You know, game week 6, match day 6 is a big week for wildcards. A lot of fixture swings are happening in match day 6, and I can kind of leave my budget open if I do go for Dean Hodgson in that fixture. So it works out a little bit better long term. I feel like it's good long term strategy planning, and that's kind of where I would be at with transfers for this week. It does give me a team that looks like this, and it gives me 1.5 million in the bank, which is extremely flexible if I do need to make any moves or if any more injuries happen next week. So it essentially leaves me open to getting any defender that I want in match day 6 if I want to take out someone like Dan Burn at 4.5 million. He's 4.8 million now, but it lets me go all the way up to 6 million defenders. So I'm available. Well, I've got any defender I want available if someone either comes back from injury or looks really good going forward. Also leave me really flexible in attack as well. Højlund is 6 million. I think I just keep him until Limitless 8. If I do use it in Limitless 8, he just stays there. Kane and Mbappe and Haaland are there, potentially looking to bring Kane in at some point. I don't need the budget for that, so that is it just kind of leaves it a little bit more open than I want to, and if I need to go for a more premium midfielder, then obviously that budget is going to be used for that as well. So I feel like it's a good move. Obviously I can make changes. We're going live, you know, before the deadline tomorrow, so I will obviously have a talk with the chat and see if that's the moves that I actually want to make. But this is where I'm at right now. Obviously Mendes being the number one transfer that's 100% happening. The other defender spot is kind of open in the air. In terms of captaincies, I think I'll just be keeping it safe. I can move over to the dates now, and that gives me Haaland on Tuesday and Mbappe on Wednesday. No real differential captains there, just playing the odds on that one. I do have a fair amount of Tuesday players, which I think is going to be a struggle for a lot of people this week. We've got Haaland, Højlund, Gordon, Yildiz, Yamal, Bongiorno, Burn, and Rulli. So that's 8 players playing on Tuesday and 7 playing on Wednesday. A lot of the Wednesday fixtures this week do look more favourable, so it's kind of depending on how you want to do that. Do you want to target the fixtures and potentially have to leave some players on the bench, or do you want to kind of play the usual structure? For me, I feel like I'm quite even right now, and I'm very happy with that. And that is kind of the way I'm looking. I'm bringing in 2 players playing on Wednesday this week, which I am happy to do because their long-term fixtures do look really nice. So that's pretty much it for today's team selection. Hopefully you got some insight or it's helped you with trying to plan for your own team. Of course, I will be live again tomorrow, so if you do have any questions, either drop them in the comments or come and ask me live at 3 PM tomorrow for our deadline stream, where we will get the Galatasaray lineups as well, so we can try and decide what we want to do with Victor Osimhen as well. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you all in the next one.